Hello guys, welcome back to SVD, and this is going to be a very quick action figure restoration video. Obviously, if you guys saw my previous video about this figure, I got it for $25. This is supposed to be a custom for a customer. We haven't really figured out what we're going to do with that full bullet Zaku nonsense, but hopefully, we'll have something figured out soon because yeah, it's a very overly ambitious project, and I don't know, like, this is something that's even worth doing. But anyway, my customer already paid for this figure. I actually got a super good deal on it. I quoted him like $50 for the figure, and I'm finding this guy for $25. And he told me that's fine. He's still willing to pay $50. So I figure I'll do him a favor and restore this figure just to make sure it is like all the problem has been addressed. Unfortunately, it's missing the commander antenna, the spare one. So there's really not much I can do about it. The best thing I can do is just fix the current antenna on the figure. So this one was actually bent. It was damaged, and it's got a stress mark. So it's a little bit unfortunate. So basically, what I did is I painted it. I bent it back into shape, as straight as I possibly can, and then I painted it. I think it looks good under like normal lighting condition. It's actually a slightly darker shade of salmon compared to the color that's on the actual figure itself. It basically doesn't match. I went as far as thinking about getting the Gunpla, Char Zaku, and then just taking the commander antenna off the Gunpla and then sticking it on this, so it has a brand new commander antenna. But I didn't want to spend like $15 on a Gunpla kit just to restore this figure, so I just painted it. All right, and then we talk about the loose joints, the hip joints on this figure. Well, that's actually a user error. Despite having so many Zakus in my collection back in 2019, I actually had to sell off my entire collection of my Robodamashi Zakus. Because I think in early 2020, I was, I knew I was gonna get into financial trouble because of the pandemic. So I preemptively sold off a lot of my stuff in my collection in anticipation. And I'm glad I actually did that because I would probably be homeless if I didn't get rid of all that stuff at the beginning, because I did have enough money to pay for some stuff in 2020. So yeah, that was a pretty crappy situation. But anyway, basically with these Zakus, there is let me go ahead and turn on the light here. So with these Zakus, there's actually two positions for the hip joint. There's actually more engineering on this hip joint that I did not mention before. Like this whole section can pivot, so that's actually pretty cool. And you can see the torso is actually attached to a dumbbell joint right here. So that actually gives you a lot more point of articulation with this thing. And you can see the skirt actually goes all the way up. So yeah, okay, so anyway, so basically with these Zaku figures, there's actually a track that goes on here with the hips. And on these tracks, there are two positions that clicks in. Basically two notches that clicks in. So if you put them in those notches, it will hold it in place. So it's not like loose or anything. So there's one position up here on the top of the hips that holds it in place, so it's not loose. And then there's a second position. So basically when I got the figure, it was, basically the hips was just like in this position, and that's super loose because there's nothing to click in here. There's no notches to hold the leg in place. So I thought there was something wrong with the figure. And this is something I should have knew before because I own several of these figures. Obviously, I don't play with them. So it's just like I did the review. They sit on the shelf on display, and that's it. So yeah, now I kind of figured this out. So yeah, well, maybe useless information for those who doesn't even collect robot spirits figures. But anyway, that's that. So that problem is addressed. Also, I washed the figure, so it's now super clean. And yeah, The Commander antenna does look good. It's just it's a slightly darker shade, but you know, under normal lighting conditions, you can't really tell unless you're looking at it very closely. But yeah, if you have like, you know, if you have your lights turned up with studio lights, you can see the difference. It's a little bit unfortunate. And another thing with these Zaku bazookas, this is actually a very common problem. Apparently the tips on these things are not glued in. So like, you know, when you're putting on the display piece, you know, the effect part that's made from plasticized PVC, those things are super heavy. I've seen it a couple times at stores, and also my friends, you know, some of my friends own the regular Zaku 2 figures. And they're sitting on the shelf, right? And they're displaying the Zaku holding the bazooka with the effect part. And very often I see the tip of the bazooka and the effect part on sitting on the, you know, on the floor of the shelf, because like, it came off. And I was like, dude, what happened? Your figure's broken, right? Yeah, it's a quality control problem. So basically, the most simple fix for this is just glue the tip in. That way, you know, you won't have that issues when you have that super heavy plasticized PVC piece right there. I don't know why they didn't make that piece out of the ABS plastic, because on the Gundams, right, the bazooka effect, they're all made from ABS plastic. They're super light. They're like a third of the weight of the plasticized PVC thing. I think they were just trying to save on cost by using cheap plastic. But yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. And you guys know how much I hate plasticized PVC, so I'm going to stop preaching. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. This figure is completely restored to almost factory conditions. And yeah, $25, man. Anyway, yeah, if you guys are, you know, looking for good deals, I definitely would check Mercari. It's definitely quickly becoming the platform that's very collectors friendly, because I don't really think you can find deals like this on eBay, like even if you try. So anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys find the information helpful. Thanks for watching.